Memories are a funny thing when you start to think about it. Most of the fondest memories we hold close are actually the ones that happened quite a while ago, from a few weeks up to a couple of years. We never question the pace our life goes by, except from singular days or weeks, maybe even months at rare occasions. But most of the time, it is the days and the weeks that we pay the most attention to, whether they pass by fast or slow. Isn't it funny how these memories feel like they happened a while ago? Even when in reality they didn't. And recalling that makes us feel old for a second, until we return back to the stream of the present. 6th of September 2008 was pretty much a life-changing day for me. For over a year before that date, the summer of 2007 to be more specific, I had access to the internet at home for the first time. I had discovered something very interesting through it, and that was YouTube. I often took my sketchbook and watched videos while drawing traditionally, the theme being often Eevee evolutions. I eventually tried out MS Paint and began to draw things on it, with a regular computer mouse as my tool. Of course, I had tried drawing on computer once or twice before, but that was something that was no longer a treat I could get once or even twice a year. It was actually something that was there to stay, and I had access to it. I quickly grew fond of digital art, mainly because of its clean look and how perfect that everything looked. Back then I had no idea that programs with layers and layer modes like SAI or Photoshop could even exist. MS Paint made me happy and creatively powerful. After discovering YouTube and its offering of AMVs and evolution tributes, I stumbled across a channel called I Love Leafeon. That was the Kickstarter for me. The one source of inspiration that made me feel like that was the thing I wanted to do. I wanted to make videos. So, I made a channel at the age of 12, and at that point I was less than 3 months away from turning 13. Even though I was underage for this platform, I still found a way to fit in and found Pokemon, and especially evolution fan pages, that I eventually settled in and made friends with. One of my friends actually has stuck with me from those times, and even though we don't chat too much nowadays, I still cherish this long-lasting friendship that we both have. As some of you know, I started off as CuteFlare instead of CuteFlare that I go by now. When I was brainstorming for ideas, I wanted a username that wasn't so widely used or didn't have any numbers. With widely used, I mean a formula that most of the people back then made their usernames. For example, I love something or something to something. Basically a combination of words that would be more unique than what was at the time in use. In all bluntness, I wanted to stand out and be a bit more unique, and that's where CuteFlare came from, as cute something hadn't been used or wasn't as popular back then. Originally, I was thinking of a username that would involve Charmander as one of the words, as Charmander was my favorite Pokemon back then, before Flareon got the spot. But the problem with Charmander was that I didn't exactly feel like I could identify as a lizard-like Pokemon. So I instead decided to go with the Flareon, as it still was one of my favorite Pokemon even if it didn't have the first place. The word cute, on the other hand, doesn't have that deep of an explanation. I suppose it just rolled very well off the tongue, and just give my younger self some credit, I ended up living up to my name. Obviously, as a fan of I Love Leafeon, I tried to speak to her a few times. One time, she actually did respond when I requested her to draw our Pokestonas together. I'll admit, I was a bit hurt by the fact she wasn't responding as actively as I would have hoped for, and my admiration for her quickly died. She never finished the request she promised to complete, but it wasn't honestly a big deal. Eventually I Love Leafeon changed channels and vanished from the YouTube scene. I decided that no matter what, I want to respond to people's comments. I want to communicate with people who are kind enough to take their time and check out what I made. I didn't want anyone to have the same experience with me as I had with my own idol back in the day. Even if nowadays I don't respond as frequently as I did back then, I still try my best to hold true to this promise and reply to respondable comments as often as possible. I know that nothing feels nicer than getting a reply to a comment that you have given to another person, especially if you have given some more effort to it. The main reason why I joined YouTube in the first place is that I really wanted to share and show the world what I could do. I have been bullied throughout my childhood, yet luckily I still had a couple of friends that kept me going. But what I felt like was missing were those friends with more mutual interests. YouTube was a source for me to enjoy and actually have a chance to be myself without anyone telling me to shut up or punch me because they found me annoying. YouTube was also a place where I could express my true colors and show off to the world what I was capable of doing, while the people I knew in real life had barely any idea as of why I did what I did. I started off with evolution tributes. As the internet was so new back at the time, the source of images to be used in those tributes were very limited. On top of that, I couldn't bring myself to use someone else's artwork, as most of the people at the time did. I wanted to give an original spin to my tributes, and so I used all the evolution drawings that I'd drawn myself. I guess in the beginning that was my trademark, and honestly, it is something I am very proud of today. Unfortunately, music didn't play such a glorified role as I felt towards visual art, and nothing really excused using the copyrighted music. But trust me, if I knew how to make more music on my own from the day one, I would have gone ahead and made even that myself. I still have a huge desire to try and get into making music one day, but as of right now, I don't really have enough time for it. Thankfully, nowadays there are channels on this platform that provide copyright-free music with fair credit, which I'm honestly thankful for. Sometimes I wish that I would have discovered them sooner though. While evolution tributes back then were my main focus, I was highly interested in making speed paints as well. But the problem I had was the lack of screen recording programs, so I decided to go ahead and try making speed paints that, now looking back at it, were kind of slideshows with fancy effects to make it look like something is being built up piece by piece. I still remember making a line and saving a progress, again and again and again, into individual frames to make it look like a progress of some sort. Maybe now when I think about it, it was kind of baby steps towards my animating, yet I doubt that. I don't remember who told me, but eventually I got my hands on Hypercam 2, and gosh how excited I was for the fact I could actually do proper speed paint now. I opened up requests and drew all kinds of things that people suggested, from evolutions to Aself and Zephyr and all the way to Pokesonas. But the first proper speed paint that I ever did is still something I'm very proud of. I miss doing more personal speed paints that aren't just a character with a transparent background. I have a lot of ideas that I want to turn into speed paints that are both inspirations from music and scenes from my stories. But I suppose the time will tell whether I'll manage to do them or not. Meanwhile, I sincerely hope you guys are enjoying what you get. speed paints have always been the secondary content for my channel. They are something I can provide rather easily and not leave too big gaps between uploads. Yet I assume you guys wouldn't mind waiting for the next animation for a while longer. Speaking of animation, it is currently the main focus that took the place of evolution tributes roughly 6, if not more, years ago. Animating is actually something I've done throughout the history of the channel. My 8th uploaded video on this channel was my very first animation that I ever did. And it was pretty much a test after my aunt was like, "Have you tried animating?" At first I didn't take it seriously. It was just something fun I did every now and then, with different evolutions and them doing some simple movements for half a minute. I did try to attempt doing a few longer animation projects, which one of them was Pokeventures. Pokeventures is actually the first draft that has evolved into a Blazing Wheel of the Heart throughout the years. Originally, it was going to be a story about my Pokezona that included my friends as the other characters. It got more popular than I expected, and I don't think I ever got around explaining what actually happened to it by the end of it. The reason why Pokeventures episode 5 never happened was because I felt like the next scene, it was too complicated to animate. So I decided to drop it. I did have a scene finished from it though, but I don't recall posting it anywhere. Whoops. For those who are curious, there would have been a scene where Flare and Pink Bunny 2222 were going to fight against a big plant that was threatening some random passerby, and that fight was the reason I chickened out of animating it. If I had moved past that though, Pokeventures would probably have been continued forward. But then again, I'm happy and content with how things turned out. Coming to think of it, the original plot that Pokeventures had wasn't honestly super great. So just be thankful you didn't need to go through it. I actually even managed to do an intro for it, but due to the song I used being mute by YouTube, the intro never saw the light of the day. After Pokeventures was all good and quote-unquote done with, I moved on and did E-Wish Wish with 3 E's that wasn't intentional, believe it or not, opening. I actually had an intention of making E-Wish Wish into an animated series, as I had developed a story for a while and was pretty excited about it. But obviously, I didn't get around doing it much further than a scene or two from the first episode, so I decided to scrap it and not even upload what I had, since it felt so much easier that way. After those 2 attempts, I haven't really tried my hand at animated series again, even if the thought of it doing it sometimes gets me very excited. If I gave it another go, I'll make sure I have a bigger team behind it, and not so that I'm the only one working on it. I actually do have an idea for an animated series, but for the time being, I'm keeping it at the back burner until further notice. Nowadays my focus with animated content is mainly on multi-animator project parts and animated music videos. I hope to expand that into an animated scenes from my original stories at some point, but for now, I'm sticking with the first 2 I mentioned. Today, 6th of September 2018, marks as my 10th year on YouTube. Even if it has been a decade, there are no signs for me to stop creating videos. In fact, I feel like I'm only getting started. And the plans that I got for the future of this channel are something I hope you guys are looking forward to with me. The same passion is still fueling my never-ending hunger for creating videos on this platform. I still want to share what I create. I want to inspire and show people that no matter the tools, you're capable of creating pretty much anything. Even if I have upgraded my programs during the years, I still firmly believe that you can create amazing stuff, even with the MS Paint and Windows Movie Maker combination. The program should never define you as a person and what you do. What is important is that how you use your tools you got. Don't drop your value as a creative person just because your program costed nothing compared to a better and a more expensive one. Same comes to subscribers. Never compare your value as a person to the number of people that have decided to subscribe to your channel. The worst you can do to yourself is that you need to fuel your motivation with numbers, or the feeling that you need to please the masses. Never fall into such a trap. If you're creating only for sole reason to become famous, then stop. Quit what you're doing and find your true passion from elsewhere. If you waste your time spending your energy on something you know you will never be satisfied with, why are you bothering? Go outside, try different things. If drawing or animating isn't for you, then try and discover something that makes you happy. Don't ever be afraid of trying out something new. I may have over 12,000 subscribers, but when you're looking at my general views, you can easily say that not all of them are committed to this channel or prefer my older content over the content I create now, and that is perfectly fine. From the bottom of my heart, I am grateful that so many of you have shown interest in this channel throughout the last decade, and honestly, it is just a bonus for me. Of course, I may every now and then make a special video dedicated to certain milestones that we happen to pass by. But if I suddenly lost all my subscribers, or I had to start off from fresh, I wouldn't give up what I'm doing now. Subscribers, aka the people who have committed to this channel, are the cherries on top of the cake I'll continue to decorate and work on as the years go by. I may not make the fanciest cake out of all those cherries, but honestly, I'm just thankful for your support you guys have given me and continue to do so. You definitely make my creative work worthwhile, but at the same time you have my promise that I won't quit on what I love doing, even if all this support disappeared overnight. So thank you everyone for 10 incredible years. While we're at it, let's aim for a decade more. Like I said, I'm only getting started, so praise yourself for future content and future activity on this channel. And of course, special thank you for everyone who submitted their gift and or fan art for this video. I honestly love all of them, and I normally don't have a proper way to feature the incredible artwork that I receive every now and then, so I thought this could be a perfect opportunity to do so. Please check these artists out, as all of them are great creators and definitely deserve their work being displayed in this video. Thank you to everyone else who has done art for me throughout these years. Know that I love every single one of them and try my best to respond to them all, if I haven't already. And finally, thank you for watching or just listening this video through. I hope it was interesting to listen to me ramble through the few highlights of my memories I have gotten while being on YouTube. But I'll end this video here, and I hope you cuties have an amazing day. See ya!